Hi, Chablani here. So I am recording this just to provide you with, I know Nikki did this with you already, but as my student as well, I think I should kind of explain. I'm going to share the document with you as well. So what we need to do as a group, we need to, okay, we have a topic, but we need to refine it to a title. But that is not enough because we need to come up with the search strategy kind of. So the search strategy includes our inclusion and exclusion criteria, the databases that we're going to use, the keywords that we're going to use, mostly in how we are going to do it. And I think you are aware and you know that we can do that in the form of, you can meet in person, but we can do it as well virtually and online. It is up to you, but I'll be there to guide you as far as possible. So that is why I'm recording this video, just to show you what you need to look out for, and as you make your decisions, you know what to do. So let me actually turn off my video so that it doesn't become. So you see that actually, I think you know that already. So we are conducting a systematic review. I'm going to send this document to you. So it is from one of my students from another institution. So this is what we want to do actually. So you are going to, on your own, depending on your topic, you're going to provide background, kind of explaining to the reader what is it that we are studying. We are going to come back to this as we move forward and ahead. But what is important, what I want to focus on here is the methods. So we are going to hear all these sections. So I'm moving a little bit fast. So we are going to come back to the problem statement, and then we need the rationale for the study, and then the aim and objectives. We can use either. So we are going to have something similar to this. I think it's fine. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Is it? Does it make sense? Yes, like this. I think so. Yeah, like this. And this is what you're going to do. But now what is important is under the method section, you see some scholars prefer methodology, but does it make a difference? We're going to describe the design, like what the student did here in your own words, kind of just to explain why you chose a systematic review. And then the second subheading after that is the inclusion exclusion criteria. So under this section, we are just explaining what type and forms of studies you are going to include in your study. So you can use the PICO framework, or you can use the spider, like what Ms. Nicolette showed you. You can use, you're allowed to use whatever that you think is important for you. But that framework is just to guide you how you make decisions. But what is important though is having a clear inclusion criteria. For example, we are going to identify studies from which year up to which year. So let's say you want to identify from 2013 to 2022 or 2015, but you should not just choose because you like those years. There should be a reason. For example, maybe when the National Development Plan, or maybe what education, whatever that you think is necessary. But at this stage, we just have these years for the sake of searches. But when you write a paper, we need a reason for such. Or let's say you want to identify studies in English, there should be a reason why you are going for such as well. Yeah, why not African? Why not Mandarin? Why not? I'm just saying. So I would want you to think around it. But for now, most of the studies, they stick to English. And also on Ebscohost and Google Scholar, it's an English kind of platform. And then also in full text. So sometimes I think you know that when you are doing your study and then you go on a search, you don't have access to the whole article. So we are going to identify full text. So one of the kind of, and then if you want to make us a peer-reviewed studies, I think you're going to go for qualitative studies, is it? If I'm mistaken. So among other reasons that we can think of, maybe context as well, to say you're going to look for school-based interventions or studies that were conducted with primary school children. In some countries don't use the word primary. So we think about that as well. So maybe you can make use of an age group, but it's up to you. So we should decide on that as a group before we start with the searches. That is why I'm recording this for you. So please watch, continue watching. And then, so if you have that, you can proceed with your study. So this is just an explanation of this kind of a video, this table actually. So this is an APA format, but I'll come back to it as we move forward. So that's what we're going to do. So the search strategy involves and includes which databases we are going to use. So I'm going to show you the Google Scholar and Ebscohost. You can use JSTOR, but most of the time it doesn't come up with meaningful kind of studies. So most of the time, Ebscohost is a search engine that hosts a lot of databases. If you go, I think on Sunland, there's access to a library. You can make use of that. I think you know how to do it. And then Google Scholar also, there's Google Scholar for Stellenbosch, for whatever, but even the general one also will give you a lot of information. So we need to clarify, we need to know which databases we're going to use. And then the years, obviously, and then which keywords. Obviously, let's say you want to identify the interventions or strategies for cognitive or whatever the topic is. So the keywords are coming from your title, and you enter those so that you identify the studies. So the intention is to identify as much studies as we can, as many as we can. So that is why we make use of the Boolean operators, the and. I'm going to show you when you make use of those. But sometimes you don't use them. It depends on what you want to do. So there are 3 phases. So the first phase, if you check your calendar, the first phase just to start with the first phase of identifying the articles by title search. So we're going to save them. And then the second phase is by abstract screening. We read the abstracts only, and we can make a decision. I'm going to show you as well. And then the last phase, we make use of a critical appraisal tool. So a critical appraisal tool is almost like a rubric whereby we use it to just select the cream from those that we have identified. So this is the second phase. But like what I've just suggested, let us try to do it as quickly as possible instead of waiting a month. I checked your calendar almost. If we do a search, we're likely to struggle at the end, but if we have everything else, we can start writing our paper. Remember, I need 30 to 40 pages. And we can make use of a spreadsheet, but this doesn't matter at this stage. I'm going to show you what you should do so that the search process is guided properly. And then this is the third phase. You can just Google what is a critical appraisal tool for systematic reviews. And it depends on the design that you choose as a group. And these are the other sections, like what are you going to do to control the quality? So we are going to work in pairs, we're going to do it as a group, independent kind of checking, and there's a supervisor that is there as well to guide you. So those are some of the things that we need to look out for. So this is actually the methodology section of your paper. And then there's extra consideration as well. But we'll talk about it, don't worry. But for now, what we want is to have an inclusion criteria, and then we can start with the searches. I think we are fine with that. Where is it now? Sorry, I'm moving fast here. Actually, my eyes are sore. I must go and see, first time go and see an what to call it, optometrist or something. So this is what we need. And please be clear. I'm going to send a picture on the WhatsApp just to, yeah. And then also, what is important? So what are we going to have as a group at the end of it? So we need to have, it's called a flowchart. It is part of the results. So when you start writing results, so when you're done with the searches, we start with the results, and we start with the results of the search process. So we are kind of explaining what happened in the first phase, in the second phase, how many articles did we get, how many were selected, how many were eliminated, something kind of like that. But what is important there is a fig that you include to show what happened in those stages. So in the identification, how many did you record? So when you start with your searches, please record everything. How many did you obtain? How many did you identify? How many were duplicates? The duplicates, sometimes the same articles from Ebscohost, you find them on Google Scholar or whatever. So that is, you can end up removing them. And then the screening, this is the abstract screening. How many were identified? How many were screened? Something like that. So we need a table, like a figure like this, so that we can record everything that is happening. Don't forget to do that. Okay, those we are going to include this in our results section. So this, we are going to walk away with two things. I'll use the word things for now. So the flowchart and the summary table. So a summary table, you can do it according to whatever that you want to do it like. But you can have a summary table. It's going to be kind of have a lot of columns instead of this, but this one was divided into two because of just to manage the structure of the paper. So you can have the author, the aim, the design, the sample, the location, this whatever that you think is important, or the outcomes, the recommendations. You can have a lot of columns. So we are going to include only the summary table of those that qualify to be reported on, that qualify to be reported in the final stage. Let's say we come up with 12. So that table is going to have 12 only studies that we've selected. So we are going to walk away with that. And then after that walking away, we are going to describe in this manner, in a kind of narrative synthesis, like what you see here. So the table is up to you. You can, let me show you, I think if I'm mistaken, there's another table here. So you can have whatever that you think is important to include as a column. That is up to you as a team and as a group. Yeah, that is that. But now I want to show you what do I want to show you? So I'm using this for my work. So there is, where's Google Scholar? Let me start with this one. So if you go to normal Google, you can go to Google Scholar, and Google Scholar is an advantage of that is you are able to only select the academic kind of sources. Let's say this, you can say interventions for cognitive, I don't know, maybe like this. I'm not saying that's the topic, I'm just showing what to do. But we need to custom range, because remember we said you want, I don't know what you're going to do, maybe from 2015, I'm not saying do that, up to 2022, and then search. Let's say, so what we're going to do as a team on that day when you're going to meet, you play around with words. And let's say this one, effects, do you think we need it? If it's a yes, you save it. So you can create a folder. So save, I want to show what happens. So I have folders, but this is for my PhD though. So you can create a folder like to say for systematic review, and then you save like that. I don't want to save this one for you. Did I save it? No, I don't want to. Where is it? Where did it go? No, remove. And then if you think this is what you're looking for, and we cannot include this is a systematic review. Actually, what you're looking for are primary studies, is it? And then you read only the titles to make such a decision. Then you can play around with a different combination as well, and see what comes up. So that is Google Scholar. Quite useful as well, can get a lot. But now the problem is that usually from my experience, you can only use what do call these pages until the 5th page. That's where you can get kind of useful information. After that, usually it's not what you're looking for. Yeah, but you report that in your search strategy to say this is what you did. You only did until the 5th page, among others. And then now on Ebscohost, this Ebscohost, you have it. I think if you go Sunlane and go library, all institutions have it. So there are databases that are there, but this one I'm using this for my work. But the one from Telemo is quite advanced in terms of the databases that are available to you. But don't use this simple kind of method to identify whatever that you're looking for. But you click on advanced search. I think you know this already. Okay, coming up. Just want to, you can choose the databases. Okay, these are selected. We don't need business. We don't need ebooks, because we're not going to. We need primary studies, not books. Educational, I can leave this. I don't think we need this. It depends on what we have. So go and select as such. So click on OK. Advanced search. What did I do now? So now we can enter everywhere, like interventions. You can enter in the same, what do you call this, a search bar for cognitive, whatever that you think is fit, whatever that you're looking for. And then you can say search. But also sometimes for primary, you can say, I want to include primary school. And sometimes you want to have also element, is it the same? I'm just using a silly elementary school. So it means you want to identify everything and anything, because the countries use different words for such. So that is why I use this phrase, the blank phrases, just to control. But from my experience, it confuses a lot. So rather enter a complete sentence in the first search bar. Maybe for I don't know, I'm just typing some fun stuff here. I don't know if you're going to see, we have a lot, but now remember, in our inclusion criteria, we said we want full text, and then we said we want peer-reviewed papers, and then we said we want from which year up to which year. We said from, let's say 2011 until 2022. And then we need academic journals. And you can continue to limit as whatever that you see. Age, you can even say the age group from young adults, 30s, middle age, childhood, something like that. You can choose to do that. If it's adolescents, you can do that. They show more as well. You can have more of it to say the focus is only on whatever age that you want. So when you do that, but what is important, I should say, you should log in. You should log in so that you are able to save your searches. So you can sign in, and when you sign in, let me show you my sign. Let me just do that. So it's becoming long, but it's important and necessary to do. Sign in. Kind of slow. Sorry about that. So let's say, what's this now? I want English. I didn't select the language, is it? You can go to language if you want English only. A lot. Wow, there are a lot of, because you see we have a lot like this because I didn't enter properly like that. So, but That's where now you can say interventions for you can change for best practice of teaching mathematics. I'm just saying, you play around to see, in short, and then they change for us, co-teaching, whatever, special needs children, something, you see, it's coming up, something nice. So it depends on what you enter here. So please play around as you do your searches. So also the purpose is to get as much as you can. So let's say now, we enter this, and you can copy kind of your search and save it aside. So what is important and what I like about Ebscohost is that it manages the search for you. Let's say best practice, is this what you're looking for? If it's yes, you click yeah. You want to add, you can create a folder to say systematic review for whatever the topic, but I have a lot of folders I don't want to add for you. And then you select the folder that you want to enter or add that document or study. And then if you click, and then the second one, if you don't like it, you skip. If you like the third one, you click, and then you do like that. You do like that as you move on and on. So you do that as a group, and then you can go to second page, third page. Usually after the fifth page, similar to Google Scholar, you don't get a lot. And then if you want to try another kind of combination of words, you can change maybe from interventions to strategies or programs, whatever that you think is necessary and important. So yeah, and then when you have added, even if you log out, let's say you meet on Monday, and now, okay guys, thank you, it was nice. And when you come back, you don't have to do this again. So we are going to go to the second phase of your study. If you are convinced that you have identified a number or whatever, you have identified the articles that you want, let's say maybe you have 100 or 80, doesn't matter much. And what is important is that you are doing well to identify the studies. You can just click on your folder and you go on a folder, and from that folder that we've added, you see I have a lot of folders here. So let's say this is your folder, screen 2 for drug abuse, you've added it, or interventions for whatever that you want, or supervision tools. You see I have 25. So if you click there, you don't have to go back to the search. And then now you want to read, that's the second phase now. You have convinced, you've added, and then now we want to read maybe the abstract only of that paper to say, sometimes the titles are deceiving. So if you read the abstract, we are able to check, okay, this article, is this what you're looking for? If it is what you're looking for, so you can create another folder, and then you can now select and add or copy or move to whatever that you've selected. Say, okay, number 1, number 2. So you can divide each other into pairs, and then the pairs work independently, but just come together to check if they agree. Let's say the other person say, let us include the first one, but the other say, no, let's not include. So you need to say, okay, why? But if there are disagreements, that's why I'm there. I'll come in and say, Jablani, this folder, we don't know what to do with this study. Can we include it, or can we exclude it as well? So yeah, I think we're fine. And then we'll talk about the last one now. But let me just include it so that we have everything. So now let's say this is part of the second phase. We've selected, let's say this one. So we have full access to that because we've selected the search. And then now we have a critical appraisal to use, so that we can now say, okay, we check on the methods, what they did. Is it in line or with how studies should be conducted? And then if it qualifies, it means that this is a good paper, this is a good project. And then now, yeah, we do a search. So that is the search. That is what you're going to do. And then after all that, like what I showed you, you're going to have, where is it? I don't know if it's here. I don't know if it's making sense, I guess so. You're going to have a table like this and a flow chart. Here's the flow chart. And then you can write, you're on your own after that. But I'll be checking on your drafts and come back to the other sections, and then we see how it goes. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope it's making sense. Stop.